Alright, I want to do a little demonstration to really put home to you how light works, and that it's such a good constant rule, one you can count on, that you could utilize this even when you don't necessarily see it in your picture by using some common sense. There's a lot of things that you know are going to where there would be less light, and everything that goes to where there's less light will get darker. And it's really easy to see when something is coming into the apex of a curve, into a lighter area, and you can go ahead and take the liberty of making sure that everything gets a little bit lighter when it comes in, or a lot lighter when it comes into where there's more light. If you were to leave everything just the same, and everything's the same value, and you were not utilizing those curves, as it's easy for a lot of people to do until they learn how to see, everything that is the same color is flat. And so you really want to take the opportunity to utilize this rule, because if you do, you'll end up with a much more effective picture, one with far more depth and interest. And you'll be able to actually show curve and dimension in places that you might not have even seen in your picture or thought would matter. But remember, I said I'm obsessed with curve because it's so effective and is such a wonderful advantage and does so much for the outcome of my picture, my drawing, that I don't want to pass up the opportunity. So let me go ahead and just show you very simply. I'm going to make some very flat bars. Flat in that they'll be the same color. Four very plain, uninteresting bars of value here. I didn't go as dark as I could. And there's a reason for that. I never want to really exhaust my values anyway, as I've said before, because then I have nothing to pull out of my arsenal, my tools, to really make sure that I can make something contoured and curved. And I'm obsessed with curve because it's so beneficial to my drawings that I want to search for it everywhere I can and have every opportunity I can to just make sure it shows. So here we have those 4 bars. Now let's go ahead and do something else here. I'm going to take my 4H and I'm going to come along here and create an edge. I'm letting it linger until I get a full value. And now I'm going to start pulling away from that leading edge, just like we would have on our patches. And in a way, even the sphere. I want to try and fill the spaces as I go, and just use this as another opportunity to exercise all the things we've been learning. Coming towards the middle, and I'm thinking lighter, 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 lighter. And look how I'm already starting to suggest contour, depth, curve. As I'm coming to where there's more light, this is going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. I want an uninterrupted flow of value here. Let me go ahead and strengthen that a little bit with my HB, just to make sure I have a little wider range of value. Alright, let's turn it around. That's going to give me a great opportunity to point some things out to you that maybe you see as we're going here, but maybe you don't. Let's just go ahead and put it a little inside that. Let's do something similar to what we had on that sphere, where it actually has a little bit of a backlighting. this part in here just a little darker. To try and divide between the two main light sources here. Often having two different light sources, again, is a good advantage to showing contour. It just gives me a little wider range of value. Kind of fun when you can just use some very basic, hard, solid rules like this and just pull something out of your hat and actually have it become something realistic. This is starting to make sense. This is something we've seen and have tucked away in our minds many, many times. The same principle. So once we key into the things that our minds know are constants and rules that it's seen all through its existence, then it becomes easier and easier to suggest things, to create illusions, to be able to zone in on the key parts, the key elements of things, and not get so sidetracked with unnecessary distractions and detail. A lot of what I hope you'll be able to do on your pictures is, again, concentrating on the most important aspects. Some of the things that I feel are what your mind is really searching for, understands perfectly, whether you realize it or not, and then moves on to appreciate the rest of what you have created. Okay, so what's wrong with this picture? It's taking on some shape, obviously, but there's something very, very wrong. It can be so much better. I'll show you that these faded away and you really didn't see them conclude. And what happens when things go to where there's less light? They get darker. The white part got darker. We want this to get darker as well, especially not look like it never went to the finish line. So let's go ahead and have this get darker and darker and darker. Probably have to go up to another pencil. This isn't going to be refined as much as we could because I just want to really make sure that you understand the principle and get the point here, because I think this is really useful. If you can grasp what I'm trying to tell you here, and I'm sure you can, then you're going to be able to have several more opportunities to take your pictures to the next level. As you start searching for opportunities in your picture after a few of these little hints and examples, you'll realize just how many places you might have been able to utilize before and didn't. So instead of these fading away and becoming very nebulous, undefined, now we have them following the very, very hard, fast rule that everything that goes to where there's less light gets darker. So we really are trying to see curve in every aspect of our drawing. It shows up in so many different ways. There are many, many more things I'm going to show you. They may not seem that big, but they can have profound results in your drawings. All right. Okay, now as you are looking at this, you might see something else that needs to be addressed. What's the other part of the equation? Not only does everything get darker when it goes to where there's less light, but everything that goes to where there's more light gets lighter as well. Now we can see clearly that the light parts are getting lighter as they go towards the what has now become the highlight on this cylinder. But here is something great. We can use this rounded end of our eraser. Now I'm going to come in here and gently tap on the dark part, letting it vignette back to the darker portions. Remember, because we have this rounded and it tapers away from the paper, if we tap this, we'll just feather it back into what's left. And now we have the advantage both ways. We have a much wider range of value. Everything is following the rule, not just some things. Let's clean up a couple edges. So is that looking round? All because I use those three basic rules about light and value. Again, everything that goes to where there's less light gets darker. Everything that was left the same color is flat. And everything that goes to where there's more light gets lighter. And I hope that you can think about these, find places that you can utilize them in your pictures, in your drawings. So have a good time drawing. See you in the next demo.